That's all right. It happens. Let's go back to my main scene. And hey, it bugged out a little bit. I think I created it. Here we go. Tina Marie podcast notes. Okay, so basically, I wanted to just take you in to what I was doing. Yeah, that's for sure. You don't need to be looking up in my email, do you? Okay, let's. Usually I'm in my studio. Right now, I'm in what's basically my empty house because I had a flood almost 2 months ago. Still waiting for insurance money to be approved so that I can get my clothes put back in. And once my clothes are put back in, I can get my furniture back and my life can go back to some normalcy, as well as setting up my studio. So I'm so used to having like 2 big monitors. Instead, I'm doing everything on So I actually went through and actually it didn't do that much for me. I am creating this
Hello
podcast
and
I wanna
welcome
start taking
back
some notes.
to the channel.
I
Thank
just
you so
asked
much
it to
for
kinda
being
create
here.
a
We're actually
spreadsheet
broadcasting
to
both on
kinda
Pop
give
Culture Kids
that I
as
can
well as my
record my
channel,
notes
K-Walk Comedy.
in
I'm
the way
Kathy,
I want
and
to kind
I
of
was going to count the live that my brother and
present the
I just
podcast.
recorded
I've
our
already kind of
podcast
come up with a
under
format
as my day
that I'm
7.
calling
Oh,
the
I
point,
went
the
live.
scam, the load, the
But
deal.
I didn't feel that would
And
be true
yes, does that
to the
make sense?
process
Probably
and
to
to
most people,
the whole
no, but to
point
Tina
of this
Marie
live
fans,
7-day
well,
live
yeah, they'll kind of
challenge
get it.
that I have been on
So
with
basically, with
members
this
of the
podcast
ecamm
that I'm
team as
aiming
well
to
as
be
Pat
about
Flynn
20,
and
about
the
a 15 to
SPI
20
community
minute
for this
breakdown,
7 days
would
of
have
live.
4
And
segments. The
honestly,
first one
I
being
can
called
say
The
I've
Point,
never really
which
gone
is going to
7 straight
be
days of live.
kind of
My brother and I
the
have been doing the
information
podcast
about, and
for
they didn't
over
really, oh yeah,
5
The
years
Point.
now since
Going to
the
make that a little
pandemic,
bigger.
and
The
that's been a
Point is going to be
weekly
kind of like
function.
the year of
I've
the
done a couple
album,
of lives in
the stats on
November.
the
I
album,
did go live
how far it
quite a
rose on the
bit, but it was
R&B
more like
charts, on the
a
pop
study
charts.
with me session type
The
thing where I played
track
music
that
and
charted
worked.
the
And even
most.
during this
Um,
portion
and
of
I'm going
going
to start
live,
off with Wild
I did do one session
and
that was a work
Peaceful
session where I
because that
worked on
is
my
the first
script. And one of
album.
the things I actually wanted to work on today
I can't
was
spell peaceful.
recording bits and pieces of the
And this is
podcast.
really making an argument for purchasing
As I've
with
talked
Flow.
about,
I
it's
was
going to be
using it
4
on a
different
free
segments. So I
14-day
wanted to
trial,
try
but
to record a segment because
man,
I figure I could
did
record
enjoy
it
it.
here.
And that was
And
from
the lovely thing
1979.
about
And
using
again,
ecamm is that even though I'm
uh,
streaming now with you live here in the chat, and
and
hello,
okay,
BK,
so
who
again, my
is here in the
categories are
chat
the
with
point, the
us.
scam, the load, the deal.
Um,
The scam is going to
oh,
be
you
just
can
me
hear reverb.
listing all
It's
the tracks from the
it's
album.
probably because I'm
And
in a
again,
big
the
old
low
empty house.
is just my
Because
low-key favorite
again,
song on the album
since
that
the
a lot of
flood, I
people
don't
might
have
not
any
listen
floors,
to, might
and if
not
I
even
can
know because it wasn't released as a single.
switch
If you didn't have
cameras
the
and move the
album, you probably wouldn't
Ozbot
check it out.
around,
But now, thanks to
um,
streaming, and if you
you
have
can
something like
probably
Spotify or
see.
Apple Music, it'd be a lot
Let's see
easier
if I
to
can
find
switch
these songs.
cameras
So I'm kind of
on
excited
here.
about that.
It's not letting
And
me
then the
switch.
deal is
Okay.
going to be kind of
Anyway,
my
because I
notes
am
or
in a
my
pretty empty room,
personal reflections on
but
the particular album.
unfortunately,
Wild and Peaceful is an
oh
album that
man,
I'm
if I
particularly
hear reverb,
kind of
it's not going to be
passionate
much
about
point
because of its
trying to
history,
record
because she was a white artist
the.
on Motown.
Well, I
They
could
released
always
her
fix
first
the
album
sound, I'm
without her
sure, or at least
picture,
I hope I can
which
fix
I
it
think is very
in
interesting considering in Motown's
my
early
post production
history,
because I
they
am
released some
editing
of their
this
albums
together.
without the artist's picture
And
because they didn't want people to know it was a black
now
artist.
hearing that, I
So
might
that's
not.
pretty interesting. I
You know
also
what?
asked for
Because I don't want it
a
to be all
call to
reverby.
action
That's a
so
bummer.
that I can
put a
I
specific
am
call to action
disappointed. Well,
in
since
each
I'm not going
episode,
to
whether
record,
it's
I'll throw
referring
my
back to
headphones
something
back
that we
on so I
do on
can.
Pop Culture Kids, or
And I
if
drop
it's a call
things.
to action to the next in the series of this
Oh wait,
podcast.
I'm hearing
And that probably what it most likely will be, because
what in the
ideally I
world?
want
I'm
to
hearing
work on
stuff in my
3
head.
episodes so that I can have them kind of ready to go
That's
and
weird.
to upload.
No
Now,
wonder
I did
this.
ask the AI, because I knew those 4 columns, the point to scam, the load to deal, the call to action, those 5 were
For
things I
some
definitely
reason,
wanted to
I'm
have.
hearing.
And I asked them to add any columns that they would see
Why am I hearing
necessary and
me in my
beneficial. I
headphones in the
actually
middle
asked them
of
to fill
streaming
in
live?
any of the
You know what?
information.
Oh, Lord have mercy. You know what? Live happens. Live happens. There were several questions that yeah, I was hearing that in my head. Another episode playing. That's why you probably should keep earphones on or some way to monitor the volume when you're streaming. And I usually have the hidden like earpiece that, since I was going to record, I was going to use the hidden earpiece, but I think that was in my desk drawer, and they moved everything out of my house after the flood while we're waiting for them to install the new floors. I'm hoping the guy can come out this week or next week. I would love to have floors before June, because it has been over 2 months of me living in just bareness, and yeah, the echo probably is intense. Anyway, one of the things for the day 7, we were asked to kind of share the biggest lessons. And for me, the lesson that I think I've learned is, if you are going to go live, if you are going to stream, do all the things you need to do to make it easy for you to stream. I know, since I don't have my studio, I've actually put up a little backdrop, got a little plant in there to kind of hang over my shoulder. I don't know if you can see my little palm plant. And just making it easy for me to, basically, I threw up a 6-foot table in my empty living room so that I could put all my equipment out and be able to stream. So I just said, okay, let's do it. Let's commit to it. Let's get more comfortable talking on camera, because basically you're in an empty room talking to folks. They're in the comments, and you can see them in the comments, and I thank you for being there. But again, for the most part, you are in an empty room or empty environment when you're doing this, and it can be weird. Even when you're making videos and vlogging, you're talking to no one. But again, just making those connections. And for me, my favorite moment of the challenge was actually spending some time. I think it might have been Tuesday or Wednesday, and I put on like 30 minutes of just like some jazzy music-y beats, kind of like what was at the beginning of this stream, to just actually write and bullet point my script. And it just felt really helpful. And I wanted to actually record the script today, but I'm kind of debating, because I sat outside on my porch by my plants and did like a little test run. And I actually like that environment much better. But unfortunately, it's a little too clunky to take my laptop and try to live stream from out on the porch. Although maybe that is a goal. Maybe I will try it. But I might actually film the podcast out there so that I can just use a wireless mic, or and instead of the big podcast mic, record my audio, and then I can edit the audio separately if need be. And another thing we were asked to do is kind of share a story about how you've grown, or what surprised you the most about the whole experience. Well, I know, just for me, just this whole idea of building in public, I don't know whether I did enough to help people or show people different aspects of putting together a podcast. Everybody has different roads. There are tons of gurus who will tell you. I know what I've learned about podcasting and creating podcasts was from a course I took from SBI, um, from Pat Flynn,
on podcasting. So that was kind of like my starting point to get me to a place where, oh, okay, oh, you can use these tools to perfect the sound. And here's a site you can use as a host. And one of the hosts I have used in the past for podcasts and will use for this podcast is Buzzsprout. And I think I will probably, maybe not on a daily basis, because it's our last week of school. I'm test coordinator and I'm still testing. So my plate is pretty full this week. And I think I'm going to have to drive a bus for a couple of days this week as well. So I don't know if live is going to hit it for me every day this week, but if I do, I do. Well, you know what? I'm going to try to at least record one of the segments of my podcast, the Tina Marie podcast, because I'm going to cut it and edit it all together. So, hi, and welcome to the premiere episode of the Tina Marie Podcast Project. My name is Kathy, and I'm one half of Pop Culture Kids, a show that I do on YouTube as a podcast with my brother Kenny. We broadcast every Sunday night at 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. But one of our shows was devoted to Tina Marie and why she should be in the Hall of Fame. And from that show, I decided to create this mini podcast of sorts, a 14-week series where we dive into each of her 14 albums and make the case for her to be in the Hall of Fame. To do this, we're going to do it in 4 different segments. I'm calling them the point, the scam, the low, the deal. And exactly what is that? Well, the point will be the album stats, the scam are the album tracks, the low is going to be the low key, my favorite song on that particular album, and the deal is just a kind of personal take and reflection on that album. I was going to try to rank it, but I can't do that. I'm too big a fan to actually, well, maybe I will rank them. We will see. All right. So that piece I can actually cut out of this live stream and use that as my introduction. And I know maybe I'll do another bit so that I can do at least the point for the first album. The first album in this series is the debut album, Wild and Peaceful by Lady T, Tina Marie. It was released March 31st, 1979, and produced by Rick James. Now, Tina Marie, in fact, had been signed to Motown since 1976, but it wasn't until the collaboration with Rick James that her debut album came to the public. It peaked at number 18 on the Billboard Soul charts and at number 94 on the Billboard Pop charts. Wild and Peaceful was known for only having 6 tracks, 3 on one side, the A side, the wild side, and 3 on the B side or the peaceful side. Now, there have been extended remixes and versions released. Okay. And we would have a cut there. And again, for the podcast, I'm going to have visuals mixed in between. And finally, I think I'll do the section called the scam section. Once again, the scam on this album was the theme, Wild and Peaceful. For the wild side, you had I'm a Sucker for Love coming in at 5 minutes and 52 seconds. Turning Me On, which in my opinion isn't a fast track, but at 6 minutes and 6 seconds, you know what? Back in the 70s, you had album tracks that were tracks. It was 5 minutes plus. And finally, closing out was a cover of a Temptation song called Don't Look Back that was actually written by Ronald White and Smokey Robinson at 7 minutes and 32 seconds. Now, for the peaceful side was the classic And I mean classic track. Deja Vu, I've Been Here Before, at 7 minutes and 38 seconds. And then I'm going to have my cake and eat it too, a jazzy ballad that was co-written by Tina Marie herself. And I Can't Love Anymore, a very emotional ballad that is just drips with all kinds of passion and verbal logistics, as Tina would be like to say. Alrighty, I think. Okay, so those are the two segments. The next segment would be the low, and um, I might again switch up my location and record that section in like a different place. But again, I'll be cutting all the audio together and running it through like Auphonic or some way to hopefully get out any echo that probably will exist because of the room I'm in. It's just nature of the beast. It's one of those things. That's why that happens. Anyway, the challenge itself, and like I said, I got to cut it short because it's going to be a long day, a long week. I know for me is to oh wait okay I'm sorry definitely talk about what you're excited to share moving forward. So moving forward, and if I do go live this week, I'm going to try to do it maybe Wednesday, because Tuesday I do have a commitment after work of actually taking the other pieces I'll film tomorrow and maybe later tonight to cut it together to get the podcast, which again, originally I said 30 minutes. It'll probably be more like 15 to 20 minutes to focus in on the album, because I know when I start talking about the deal, I probably will get a little long-winded. But in any case, this was it was a fun challenge. I'm glad I took the challenge and that I did commit and show up all 7 days. So in that time, I got a podcast cover. I actually edited that in Canva. I got the podcast host Buzzsprout. I also used AI to help me do some research, as well as some Google tools to kind of come up with a spreadsheet to outline what it is I'm going to be talking about for the point, the scam, the low, the deal for all 14 albums. So I was able to kind of take you behind the scenes and do some research. So all worthwhile pursuits and all pushing me kind of forward on this project. The release date is June 1st. On June 1st, I'm hoping to have 3 different podcasts to release June 1st, and then thereafter releasing one every week to kind of celebrate her albums. I know for myself, I'm going to have to go back and listen to like the later albums, because I don't know whether I dug into them as especially beautiful like the last one. It was kind of hard for me to listen to it. It was released after her death. So yes, it might take me a little while to work into those later albums, but I know for the Motown era and even the epic albums, I probably could quote the whole thing. I could even tell you probably what's on the liner notes. So those should be fun shows to talk about. So I look forward to doing that and sharing more of that with you through this channel. So if you're somebody who has something that you're passionate about, I would encourage you to, hey, do a podcast. I know that everybody's got a podcast for this, that, and other thing, but do it, because you never know. It might help you find your people, or those people who are passionate about what you're passionate about. I know I'm a part of several uh, Facebook groups that are kind of devoted to Tina Marie. So hopefully, when I do publish an episode, I can share this with them, because I think again they would appreciate and enjoy takes on the album, and who knows, maybe even interview them and do a follow-up episode or two of the podcast. So that's where I'm at with that. I have got to prepare, because it is going to be a week, because middle schoolers be middle schooling, and yeah, I got to get to it. Thanks so much for watching. Take care. Be brave. Go live. You don't know how much fun it is till you actually give it a try. So have at it. Bye.